Welcome
I'm
back
flossing underneath the table. No one can see it though.
And I'm doing the signature Trump fist dance thing. You know this thing, the classic.
Yeah,
It's appropriate for today because this is Bitcoin Season 2 Writers Room Edition. Colin and Charlie of Blockspace Media. We are the screenwriters for Bitcoin Season 2. We write the plot beats, the high points. But before we do that, I do want to call out to our sponsor, Botanix. Let's roll it, Botanix. Bitcoin Season 2 is brought to you by Botanix. Botanix Labs is pioneering a new direction for DeFi with the first EVM L2 running on Bitcoin that's built to be forward secure, decentralized, and share gas fees generated by the network with users. See the future of DeFi at Botanix, botanixlabs.xyz. So yeah, welcome back to Bitcoin Season 2. I'm Charlie, and this is Colin. What's up, Colin?
What's going on, Charlie? It's a beautiful day here. I'm in New Mexico this week. Love this state. You recently got back stateside after a globe-trotting adventure that spanned multiple continents.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I've been around the world and back again. I'm back home, back here in the central USA, where it's a beautiful fall sunny day. But enough about the small talk. We got to get down to business.
Gotta get down to the fat talk.
Yeah, exactly. We're on the case today. So you may have missed the news, but last April, former president and perhaps presidential candidate Donald Trump actually got involved in the Bitcoin scene. This was not just him saying, I like Bitcoin. It was he actually supposedly inscribed some Bitcoin ordinals. Yeah, you heard that right. Like the man, you can say a lot of things about him, but he knows how to get the bag.
He does know how to get that bag.
Yeah,
he might not know where the bag's coming from. I don't think he can articulate what a blockchain is.
Yeah.
But he knows where the money is going, and he knows an opportunity when he sees it. So this is a strange story because it's almost like a Mandela effect thing, right? It's like there's not really any footprint online for this, but you remember very clearly that this was something that he tried to do.
Yeah, I thought I hallucinated this because I mean that this is top of mind because it's World Liberty Financial Week, because this is what Trump's latest thing is. Not to just be stopped at only running for president. He's going to launch an underwhelming DeFi scheme. I actually think we start here, just like with like given the context of our conversation is that Trump has, and I'm going to share this tab, launched World Liberty Financial, which, by the way, NordVPN flags
suspicious site ahead.
Suspicious site. Okay, so the Trump's back on Twitter, and he and his official account tweets like custom videos of him shilling World Liberty Financial, and for the literally the biggest person on the internet and probably most famous person in the world, this DeFi scheme was one of the most underwhelming things in the entire world. Here's the Dune dashboard. This shit raised $13 million, which is like that's like a milk toast performing meme coin, basically.
I mean, yeah, that's like spitting in the ocean for literally any DeFi project, right? Like, this is the funny thing too about this is like Trump is launching this thing like 4 years too late. Honestly, he missed the DeFi summer of 2020, and this to me is an incredible venture because it is like incredibly tone deaf. They're not even trying to hide how banal and boilerplate the marketing is. If you go back to the page, it's like, be defiant. We're going to disintermediate the stranglehold that financial institutions have on the average American. This coming from obviously a billionaire who has always been very close to these financial institutions. Obviously, he's not like he's not working for the BlackRocks and the JP Morgans of the world, but at the end of the day, he's very much close to the money spigot. One would argue that he is one of the, people who would be in line for, one of those top positions with the Cantillon effect or something. So
yeah,
very interesting, coming out of nowhere. And like Charlie was saying, extremely lackluster performance. We were kind of talking before we started rolling that I think part of the reason for this lackluster performance, not only is this just coming at the wrong time, if he had done this a few years ago, or even if he had done this during the pump at the beginning of the year, at the end of last year, or during the last market cycle, this would maybe be doing better. But part of the problem is it's closed to only institutional investors in the US.
You have to be like, what's an institutional or it's a special kind of investor,
accredited investor.
Yeah, exactly. Accredited investor.
It's only open to accredited investors. It's open to investors outside of the US. But this would have performed much better if it were just something like an airdrop. But I don't know how you would even go about that, right? Because you would have to maybe, get in league with one of the automated market makers, or a decentralized exchange, and then like based on people's trading activity for any number of tokens or whatever, who knows? You maybe have to have a whitelist, but he's obviously not going to do that, right? I mean, this is a guy who got slapped with like, what was it, like 34 felony charges, something crazy, for paying off a porn star. So like he's not going to take any chances with the SEC, especially with the election super close. But that still is the thing that just blows my mind about this. It's just he never wastes an opportunity. I mean, this is a fucking man who has the entire establishment of the US against him, and he's running for president, and somehow he still has time to make these videos. I need you all to I've got an announcement about the World Liberty Fi. It's going to be the biggest DeFi project you've ever seen. It's like, who has time for something like this? Yeah, here's the video.
Dude, he's like on it. I mean, like I wonder if I can play this.
Go right now and collect your piece of American history. Let's have fun together. Enjoy a new series of Trump digital trading cards.
Man, the guy.
It's like one of those Buffalo Bullion commercials for like the gold coins that they play on Fox. It's like,
oh my gosh. I think you have teed up. We'll do this towards the end, like the other list of like goofy Trump grifts, which are just endless hilarity and content. But I want to kind of get cut to the chase here, which is like, we're a Bitcoin show, so we can't, like, we can only talk about World Liberty Financial so much because that's a dirty ETH DeFi grift. Now, if you did it on Bitcoin, this would be great. We'd have endless fun talking about all of that. But as it pertains to Bitcoin, Trump has a long history of launching NFT collections. Now, most of these NFT collections, I'm pretty sure, have been on Ethereum. And the scheme is that you pay with a credit card through his website for the low price of some $100 ballpark fiat denominated like NFT, and they give it to you. Like, you send your MetaMask address or something. Well, this past spring, in April of 2024, he announced it's going to be on Bitcoin Ordinals. That's actually the thing.
That's how he said it.
Well, he didn't actually say that. The official Trump account retweeted and explicitly endorsed
on Bitcoin Ordinals
the Collect Trump Cards Twitter account. So this is from April 26th of this past year. And so this is explicitly endorsed, officially associated with the Trump campaign. Trump digital trading cards on Bitcoin Ordinals. This actually happened. Yes, you may have brainholed it, but it actually happened. And it's his classic mugshot picture, which is, I regretfully say, is actually pretty badass as far as
it goes hard. That's the problem. Hard. It goes hard. It's just like the post-assassination attempt photo. He goes hard.
He just when it counts, he shows up and takes good photos. And then he can sell those photos as one of a kind. One of ones.
As a collector's edition. So yeah, can you click on the Magic Eden link? Because didn't you say it's like
yeah. So my question was, so we can talk about so it kind of came with the standard thing. You buy one of these, you get the Trump digital collectible, and if you really shelled out like thousands of dollars, I think through the front end website, you could get dinner with Trump at Mar-a-Lago in the same room. Dinner with Trump means in the same room, Mar-a-Lago, and then a photo op. So anyway, there's a link here, magiceden.io/ordinals, and it actually opens up. I will show you. It opens up this Link 404.
Uh-oh.
So now we have a fun mystery on our hands.
So,
Where do they go?
I mean, obviously this would be very difficult because if you're going to go to ordinals.com, it is painfully slow and there's tens of millions of ordinals and inscriptions on there at some point. But theoretically, we should be able to find this, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you did enough digging, you
Yeah,
could
I mean,
you could find it
if you
somewhere.
if you pull the out of the URL the wallet address from here, you can search it in ordinals.com and find this. Look at that. Unmistakable Donald Trump inscriptions on Bitcoin, featuring magnificent art projects such as this, which I have no idea. Who is that?
I don't know. I'm gonna sound really ignorant. It almost looks like it's supposed to be like a rendering of Andrew Jackson or something.
Yeah.
Former president of the United States in the 1800s. So this is what I love though. If you go to like here, can you go back to the holistic
Okay.
Trump football? Here, go back to the full view because you have this like historical revisionism with like Trump ripped, in a suit.
Yeah.
And then you have this one in the middle, if it loads, of him like just taking a putt, like playing golf at Mar-a-Lago or something.
Yeah.
It's like it's these like strange like power fantasy NFTs mixed with these like totally mundane Trump just doing Trump things.
It's got an index. I mean, okay, here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, so like it'll load here in a second. See, look at the golf one. I mean, it's just scroll up for a second. The golf, I just find that hilarious. It's like so out of place because the rest of them are him, like, Then there's this like weird superhero one where he's like looking like Shazam or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and what other do we not live in the most blessed timeline? I mean, where else do you get? I mean, who would have ever thought this? Okay, go back to the founding of this country and try to explain this to George Washington, to Benjamin Franklin, to Thomas Jefferson, to Alexander Hamilton. You can't. There's the fact that there's this strange, there's this strange universe that we live in where there's this intersection of one of the slimiest businessmen you can think of with one of the like craziest technological advancements and one of the most dubious investment vehicles you can think of with the presidential campaign. I mean, it's just this goulash of whatever you want to call it.
The founding father mind cannot comprehend
the American mind can barely comprehend.
Mind.
The European mind certainly can't comprehend.
Yeah. So these, like, I don't know if he sold all these. I assume because there's only like a few hundred of these. I was able to actually pull up Ordiscan, which is a faster explorer. There's only 164 inscriptions in here, and they've only ever been inscribed and deposited to this address. They've only ever been.
So they haven't moved from.
Yeah.
Like they're all in the same address, right? Or
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I don't believe these have been distributed to people. I actually don't know if in the user flow, in like the purchasing user flow, when you swiped your credit card to buy this from Trump, I don't know if you actually like ever gave a wallet address. Maybe you did, but it doesn't look like they were sent or the custody was transferred.
It kind of seems like he just decided to do this, maybe with Barron's help, and then a staffer came along. At one point, he's like, "Wait, hang on, what are you doing? No, you can't be doing this right now. This is beyond the pale. How this is ridiculous. You're not going to peddle digital trading cards to your voters. Please stop."
Yeah. So the other thing is that you track down the inscription IDs on Magic Eden, they do not belong in any collection. So like they're not officially associated with anything. I will actually make a funny observation that in response to this official tweet from the Collect Trump Cards account, the Magic Eden on Bitcoin account replied that they knew that these existed, forever inscribed on Bitcoin, and then we can find that these are not actually in any particular collection. So
Well, that makes me wonder. So, but the Trump trading card account is like officially, and like that is run by Trump's team and Trump. Like this is
yeah. So this was a retweet somewhere from Trump's official account. So this is
what I was going to
it was actually a link. It was a direct link from the official landing page for the Trump digital cards account. That's what it was.
So what I was going to surmise is maybe these were fake, as in like they were created by someone who actually wasn't associated with Trump, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
No, this is officially associated with the campaign.
That makes sense.
The thing is that this gets actually into a little bit of how Magic Eden, and I actually wrote about this. This gets into like how collections are tracked in the Ordinals world. And I wrote a newsletter about this a few weeks ago, just on provenance and the provenance debate, in that the way, like, for other NFTs and other blockchains, there's a contract associated with them, which is easy to identify, and that data is ingested by major marketplaces like OpenSea and Magic Eden for other blockchains. For Bitcoin and inscriptions, this information has to be voluntarily submitted by the owner of the collection, and there is some checks and processes, but it's kind of this like third-party marketplace which says, we'll just try to stay on top of like which things are in which collections. You got to submit it to us, and we'll like kind of manually update that. And it's actually it's a point of friction for the entire ecosystem, and like overall soreness and criticism. So
it makes me wonder if this was like an aborted attempt at a collection. Like maybe they just didn't get enough traction, and so they just totally scrapped it. Because if there's anything Trump hates more than losing, it's almost winning. Like, that didn't really quite come out right, but you get my point. It's like,
I know what you mean.
If there's going to be something that he tries to do and then it ends up failing to gain traction, that's embarrassing, and he wants to just like squash it, right? So I wonder if that has anything to do with this. I think it's interesting that it's not, there is no official collection, or there's no collection to bucket all of these under. It's almost like cursed inscriptions. It's like the Dark MAGA collection. Like
these are the extremely cursed inscriptions. There's a video that I found under the official Trump card collection of some boys. Ooh, here it is. Found
some
it.
Boys.
Yeah. Okay.
We dim boys.
Here we go. These are boys eating at the supposed. Let me show. These are boys dining at the supposed following associated dinner.
Okay, I do not want to engage in ad hominem, but like it's like 4chan personified in a way.
Here we go. Those are all of your main characters right there in one video.
So ostensibly this did happen.
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing that I'm wondering, is it's like, why is there such a small footprint of this online and that we can't find anything about it? Like,
I've heard nobody talk about it. And it's funny because like I remember like for like a day it was, oh man, this is a catalyst for Ordinals. But you got to remember, like, this happened because this is all people do is like, is this a catalyst? Are we going to the moon?
Right.
And it clearly was not, because that was literally the Pico top. And it was also because that was right the same week as the halving. So runes had sucked all the air out of the room, both from a narrative standpoint and a liquidity standpoint, that I think people just forgot that this existed. But not me. I remember. I see everything. I never forget. I remember these things. I track them down.
So just to recap, like, Ordinal collection, you buy an Ordinal and you get to have a dinner at Mar-a-Lago, or you buy a certain number of Ordinals, you get to have a dinner at Mar-a-Lago. You can't even pay with Bitcoin, which is hilarious. You have to pay with a credit card. But most of this, like you said, has been memory hold. And that just leads me back to the question. It's like, did his staff just try to say, like, you have to walk this back because like, but then my question then becomes is like they didn't walk him back from WorldLibertyFi, right? So
That was the
there's
most
almost like,
obvious. Like
but maybe
Donald.
that's why is because like all of the regulations around. I mean, the SEC has been schizophrenic in its prosecution of token launches and token companies, right? So maybe part of this was them being like, this could be misconstrued as a security. You know, people buy these things with the expectation that they're going up. They're centrally issued. You're giving them something for like a dinner. Maybe there was a part of their staff who's like, you cannot do this. If we're gonna do something like this, we're gonna have to do it by the book, only open to accredited investors. Which like I could kind of understand, especially because when did the ordinal stuff? It was like in April.
Yeah, April 26th through 28th. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so that was when was he convicted? That was like
That's a good. I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't like Trump convicted date. This is a good question. May
it was
31st?
May. So it was
Yeah.
late May. So maybe this is in context with that, where it's like he's got all of this legal trouble, and then his team might say something like, you really cannot do anything else to put the spotlight on you or give them another reason for them to take you to court. That's total conjecture. I'm just surmising that. I mean, could see that being an argument, but it is really funny that this has been something that has been, you know, kind of packed into a box and thrown into the attic, so to speak, because you do have all these other insane, as you called them, grifting endeavors by Trump. Like I have some of them pulled up right now.
Let's do it. Open
If we
it
can
up.
segue into this.
Let's segue into
So,
this.
Perhaps the most and we'll just go ahead and do this really quickly because we'll start here, but
You have to
this
share
was
your
the
scan.
original NFT collection that he launched on, I guess it was Ethereum. And I remember this was in this was like 2020 2021, right? When he
Yeah.
did this. Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
very much kind of like to me it was almost like a kind of like shouting from the abyss type thing, because he hadn't really announced that he was going to run when he had or run again when he had done these, and to me it was kind of this, you know, kind of last gasp of cultural relevance. And you know, just if you just look at these, I mean, there's a CryptoPunk one. I mean, you just, again, you don't have to like it, but you kind of got to respect the just pure hustle and the disregard for any sort of ethics when it comes to peddling this stuff, because he has no idea, like he has no idea what any of this is about. I would imagine the thumbs up one or maybe a desirable trait for these, but yeah, I don't even know what to say about this. It's just so self-aggrandizing and absurd. You just can't help but laugh. And like the hunting one, like I don't think Trump's ever been hunting in his life, honestly. I also don't think
Given
he's
that you
ever.
have this up here, I have to show you this. One of those was inscribed by the Eric Wall, very early on Bitcoin as inscription 134. So this is relevant to this because I think he owns this inscription and he just had it. I think he owns the NFT and he wanted to make it an inscription. So back to.
That's an interesting thing, rehypothecating NFTs.
Yeah.
Like that's interesting, making them multi-chain. Is like once you own it, does that give you the right then to make another NFT on Bitcoin with an inscription and then sell that NFT?
So this is actually something I happen to be a little bit of an expert on. And the answer is it depends on the licensing of the NFT on Ethereum. This actually came into a bit of debate when Jason Williams teleburned his Bored Ape onto Bitcoin.
I remember this, yeah.
Yeah. So Casey burnt his Rotamore.eth, then Jason Williams burnt his Bored Ape, and then I burnt my Milady at the Pico bottom of Milady's. I want to get this out there. I
Still regretting down bad.
Yeah. But yeah, you do retain ownership if it's not already protected by like a licensing agreement.
Right. So anyway, all that being said, on to the next grift, which admittedly, like people bought these. These were apparently super popular, the Trump sneakers.
Hell yeah, dude.
Also the fight ones. That's incredible. But yeah, I mean, I remember when these came out and it's like people were actually buying them. And I don't get it. I've never really been a shoe or a sneaker guy. This at least is somewhat culturally relevant, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a fashion statement, something you can wear. This seems to be more in his corner, right? Like, I can understand this. Oh, he's got cologne, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, these terrible flip flops, or what do you even call those? Just sandals, like athletic sandals.
Yeah, like flaps or those goofy
The
things.
kind of things that people wear socks with.
Yeah.
So this is this, people. I think this is probably the most popular one that a lot of people remember, but I think one that may have gotten memory hold for some, and we just have to bring it back up, and you can't even find it unless, like, there's not a website for it anymore. But the Trump steaks.
Oh boy, I did some work. I actually have the video for you.
Do you?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, this is the OG video. Okay, yeah, you got to do this. Oh, sorry.
Okay, this is a video. I got to show just some of it, and this is Trump steaks.
When it comes to great steaks, I've just raised the stakes. The Sharper Image is one of my favorite stores with fantastic products of all kinds. That's why I'm thrilled they agree with me. Trump steaks are the world's greatest steaks, and I mean that in every sense of the word. And the Sharper Image is the only store where you can buy
Perfect
them.
partner for this.
Trump steaks are by far the best tasting, most flavorful beef you've ever had.
Show me what they
Truly in
look
a
like.
league of their own. Trump steaks are 5-star gourmet, quality that
does that
belong in
even
a
mean?
very, very select category of restaurant, and are certified Angus beef prime. There's nothing better than that. Of all of the beef produced in America, less than 1% qualifies for that category.
Not one
Yeah.
of his. It makes me want an actual good grass-fed steak. But
Yeah, but man, he's sold everything. He's done fast food advertisements. He's done everything. So,
I mean, he's one of the greatest marketers of our time, and that's why he's gotten to where he's been at, right? I mean, if it weren't for the fact that he's just like, I mean, I kind of joked before we got on this, right? He's like the first influencer in a way. I
Yeah.
mean, without the personality, without the chutzpah, without all of that, and with the sullied aspects of it and the sweet aspects of it, without that, he never would have been where he is in the first place. And I just the fact that there's this intersection between his presidency and his entire legacy and this weird Bitcoin shit that we talk about all day is never shy of just amazing to me. When I went to the Bitcoin conference, my father-in-law asked me, he's like, "Oh, so did you see the Trumpster speak?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." And to me, still the most memorable line of the entire thing was, "Good luck with your playing with your Bitcoin or your crypto or the other things that you're playing with," And I do think that this is a good chance to insert some political commentary here.
Yeah, go for it.
Where he's pandering to the industry. The industry is going to take that because instead of pandering, all it has seen is hostility and adversarial actions taken by the other wing of American politics. But no one should be deluded into thinking that he is going to be a champion, I think, for Bitcoin. I don't think that that's in the cards at all. I think that he's going to make maybe our lives a little easier on the side of things, right? When it comes to energy policy and when it comes to non-draconian reporting, but like there's not, financial reporting, but there's not going to be anything, at least that I can see so far, especially policy-wise from what he's presented, that would indicate that he's actually going to do anything that is beneficial for us, right? I don't think he's going to do a strategic reserve. I think that's kind of like, and even during his speech during 2024, he didn't even say he was going to do that. He basically just said that he's not going to sell the Bitcoin that they custody currently from seizures like the Silk Road, which is a completely different thing than saying like what RFK said, where he's like, "I'm going to buy like 5 million Bitcoin a day or $5 million worth of Bitcoin a day," or something like that.
Well, and notably, like literally the next month, the U.S. sold some of the Mt. Gox spoils that they had,
Right.
And it could not have just been a coincidence. It has to be like a direct spiteful move. Another takeaway from that is like, I mean, I'm in total agreement with you, Colin. Like, Trump's not an ally, but he doesn't appear to be an enemy, which is like kind of all we've asked for years. and maybe some like consistency and clarity and path towards like healthy, clear, like regulatory framework. But that may be asking too much. Yeah, go build
Yeah.
your parallel systems if you're listening to this.
Right. I think that's the kind of the takeaway too, right? I mean, it bears remembering or bears repeating that literally anyone, even an outsider and kind of an anti-establishment candidate like Trump, regardless of who gets in office, they have an incentive and their entrenched interests to keep the dollar as the dominant currency of the world. Any sort of policy that would potentially malign that interest is going to be completely shelved, even if it's an aspirational or a policy talking point from the campaign. I mean, literally shy of an anarchist, libertarian, kind of deranged Javier Milei type president, you're just not going to get anything like that from the U.S., right? And even if it might be, even if Bitcoiners might argue that it would be beneficial down the road to divest and start at least stacking a Bitcoin treasury in the same way that we have like a gold reserve, right? But on that note, though, kind of what you were saying about he's at least neutral and he's not an ally, maybe a reluctant ally, maybe just opportunistic. At the very least, though, I hope that if he ends up getting elected, he just stays out of it. And that's all, like you said, that's all we've ever really asked. But I don't know if that's even going to happen, right? Like,
I mean, he's got a DeFi project for whatever fucking reason, and maybe maybe the best thing that could happen is that it goes up, and he goes, "Oh, I can make more money," and he's like, so he fires Gary Gensler, and he just and he creates a jubilee for all crypto scams,
right.
which never really got under my skin. They do get under some other Bitcoiners' skin. But speaking of things which are not exactly Bitcoin, but do have to do with crypto and do have to do with Trump and do drive the narrative beat, and we'll wrap up with this, is the poly market. We have to talk about this even briefly. This is the thing everybody's talking about.
Been
Yeah.
a crazy divergence. I mean, at least the honeymoon seems to be a little bit over,
Yeah.
right? And I was kind of shocked to see this, though, because I haven't seen anything from polls, or maybe it's just a series of interviews that went out. Like, I don't really know what's justifying this divergence.
Well, and
But
this is what like the Adam Cochran or other people were talking about. I don't really trust most anyone's comments on this. I mean, the thing is like Trump now sitting at 60, Kamala at 40, and this poly market. Does this represent a truly like liquid market, or a truly whatever you call, like the market knows something you don't? And I don't really believe that either. I just think like poly market is a comparatively small market for all of this, and it can give you a little bit of like forewarning about specific events. And um, every election cycle, every major like cultural betting event that happens, these prediction markets will probably pop up. This is my personal weird heterodox opinion about the purpose of a blockchain anyway. And Udi does say like, well, there's only like two uses. There's three uses for the product market fit, which is like money, stable coins, and NFTs. And I'd say, Udi, I think prediction markets are actually a very, very good use case for these crazy networks we've built. And I think I would love to see this type of thing on Bitcoin someday. So maybe bit market someday. Someone's going to roll it out with discrete log contracts.
it'd be great. I love prediction markets. I think that more than anything, they're typically, especially closer to an event, they are more robust and more accurate than polling. And the thing that I think is crazy about this is poly market is most of this activity is outside. I mean, barring, degens that have VPNs or Tor and they're circumventing the geo blocking, like the majority of this is not US trading, right? I think that if you want to, for the US specifically, I'm going to share my screen and then maybe
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that. But I need to stop sharing my last one. The one, as far as I can tell, that's more kind of US based is Predict It.
Oh yeah.
I think though this you have to be accredited or something. I could be wrong, so don't take me at my word here, but I'm pretty sure this is more US focused, and even here you're starting to see a divergence, which I think is interesting. I have a buddy who only trusts the Vegas betting odds, though. Like that's what he says. That's his go-to is Vegas. I don't
That
know.
doesn't sound crazy to me, actually.
No, it doesn't sound crazy to me either. I think that generally speaking, you know, putting your money where your mouth is, people taking these bets, like they're doing so because they have privileged information or they've really done the research to see things. And I think that it's going to be worth paying attention to this as we approach, you know, November 4th, fast approaching the day that, or November 5th, excuse me, fast approaching a day that we, at least I am dreading, because no matter what happens, half the country is going to be in disrepair and they're going to be very upset. But
I mean, maybe we live stream it. Maybe we live stream America's downfall.
Live streaming the fall of Rome in real time. That's what we do here at Blockspace. We're gonna watch the decline.
V for Vendetta because it's on the 5th of November, and we're going to live stream the Poly Market and predict it close. So
I do think we should do that. Try to make it fun. Maybe get a little sloppy, you know.
Oh yeah, dude, I can't do it without a
no,
very
I can't do it without a stiff
very
one.
tall beer.
A very tall beer, a couple of old fashions, you know, and in the American way, maybe some fentanyl, you know, some
brew it up, mix it all up, take a big gulp, and figure out who the president's going to be. Well, on that note, thanks for listening to Bitcoin Season 2, the Writers Room. Again, this is the highly editorialized Colin and Charlie shoot the shit on current events. We are the screenwriters of Bitcoin Season 2. Make sure to follow me, CB Spears, and Colin at As I Lay Hodling, ASILAYHOLDING, I believe. I think.
HODLING. Yeah, you got it. And follow Blockspace Pod, Mining Pod, subscribe to our newsletters, subscribe to our YouTube. Go have fun this weekend. Leave all of the bullshit behind. And don't buy the Trump Ordinals.
Don't buy the Trump Ordinals, but maybe take a look at your room.
Maybe buy the sneakers. But
yeah,
maybe
the sneakers, they could